Hey guys, just girl talk today with me and my friend Patricia. Patricia.Coleman. Sorry about the name. I mean, this is just regular for us. We figured we'd get it on film. We sit and we cook and we drink wine and we talk about life and we rant for hours and hours and hours. So we'll just get it on camera this time. Trish and I both moved to Dallas maybe. Have you been 2 years here?
No, almost 2 years.
She's almost 2 years. I'm like a little bit over 2 years. Randomly met at Clutch, Dallas. We were lit and we were in the girls' bathroom and she was coming out of the bathroom stall and I told her she was pretty and we've been inseparable since 2 years ago. So we're like together every day, all day. We talk about life. She's one of the only people here that I can like rant and like actually get where I'm coming from about like my goals and the future and stuff like that. So
and now we live 3 minutes from each other.
Oh yeah, and then she moved 3 minutes down the road off of the same street. So get used to videos from the both of us. But I thought it would be pretty cool. A lot of you guys
making ice.
Sorry, that's my ice maker. At least I got ice. I thought it would be cool. You guys often DM me about how I got to Dallas and how that whole situation happened. How did you get comfortable? How did you meet people? Like all the same questions. So figure we both tell our stories today. And yeah, Trish will start with her story. Then I'll tag along. And we're gonna cook in the meantime because it brings about better conversation.
I'm chopping onions. Hopefully I don't cry.
Oh, you might with the story.
It's because the onions, not the story.
It might be because of both. It might be because of both. But Trish, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. And I'm just going to start cutting my lemon and marinating my salmon.
Well, my name is Patricia Coleman. I'm originally from Kansas City. You just not going to look at me? Am I just...
Yeah, you're going to look at the camera.
Am I looking at this camera? I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, born and raised, Midwest, home of the barbecue, get it right, Texas. That's where the barbecue is, in Kansas City.
She told y'all.
So I basically always knew I wanted to get out of Kansas City. It took me a long time, and in that long time, I ended up only doing it in 3 months. I made the decision, 3 months later, moved. I picked Dallas because I always came to travel here, visit here, and I just loved the energy, loved the vibe about it. So yeah, I decided that this is where I was going to be. This is where I was going to pick up my life and come. I knew.
You have to tell them about like how you got like how you decided on the date and then all the stuff that happened.
Okay, so I knew around the time that I wanted to move, but I didn't know like an exact date. Like I was playing around with certain dates. At this point, like my lease was up. I didn't want to sign another lease, so I moved in with my friend. Shout out to Tracy. Is that right?
Hey Tracy.
Shout out to Tracy. So moved in with her. Went to church with her a couple times. At this point, still debating on like dates that I'm gonna move in. I moved to Dallas. So yeah, I went to church with her twice, which was not my regular church, was not the church that I belonged to. And the 2 times that I went to church with her, her pastor, both times said 8 was the number for new beginnings, which January 8th was one of the dates that I was going back and forth with. So I instantly knew like that was my sign. Like I feel like everybody has. Can you like look at me when I'm talking to?
Are you talking? We're talking to the camera.
I feel like everyone has their signs, and I feel like everybody's sign is different, you know, like I had my sign and somebody else's sign might be different, but that was my sign. Like I knew instantly when he said 8 is the number for new beginnings, 2 Sundays in a row, like that was my sign to go.
That was in January?
No, so that was like 2 months before. 2 months before January, whatever month that is. I can't go backwards. November.
Okay.
So like that was November, and at this point I was like, okay, that's what I'm doing. that's what like I'm pushing for it. So I worked for the company I currently work for now, Beauty Brands. I worked there in Kansas City. That's where it's based. So transferring was easy. So that was.
Wait, that's where they started?
Yeah, it's based in Kansas City.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's based in Kansas City. So I just transferred. I basically just had to like pick a location. So like that was the easy part. But let me tell you, from the moment that I decided like that I was leaving on the 8th, everything like that could have happened happened. Like
That's
my car breaking down on the side of the highway, like on the way to work, like everything. But
plug for anybody who's trying to figure out if they should move. Once you make that decision, you got to stick to it, because anything that can stray you from that is going to happen.
yes. And so,
And
I
that's
mean,
testing if you're actually going to do it or not, and if you really want it.
exactly. So, you know, and I was in the back of my head saying, like, I really need a newer car. Like, I'm going out to a new city where I barely know anyone. So, with also being tested, I feel like God will also, like, make things, like, force you to do things that you say you need to do, or feel like you need to do, but you're not really, like, pressing yourself to do it. Like, he'll, like, literally, like, give you no choice but to do it. Like, my car breaking down the side of the highway, like, I had no choice but to get a new car. Like, engine blown, car not going anywhere. And so everyone was like, maybe this is your sign, like, maybe you should wait a little bit. Like, 3 months is really fast to do something, but, like, I already had my sign. So, like, nothing could have happened. Nobody could tell me anything. Like, I was leaving on the 8th. If I left at 11:55, I was leaving on the 8th. Like, that's what I was doing. So I just kept pushing, like, living with my friend, her taking me to work, me driving her car to work, just kept pushing. 2 weeks before I was supposed to move on the 8th, finally found a car that I wanted, with the price that I wanted. Originally, it was a little bit more than what I really felt like I could handle, but I went ahead and just did it. Then when I went to go sign for the paperwork, she said that she had got it down $100 cheaper. So, like, that was a blessing. So I just went for it, and on the 8th, I left. I didn't go against what I felt like was my sign. I just came down here on the 8th, and here I am now.
That's so crazy. It's 2 years later.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess my story is kind of similar, but not really. I was about to graduate Q's, and I want to say in December. I graduated in May, but this December before that, I just started freaking out about what I was going to do. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know anything at all. So I was applying to a bunch of jobs, and I literally just started like applying to everything, like anything that had a job opening, I would apply to. Like, forget my IT degree, forget everything I studied for the last 4 years. I was applying to any type of job. And I want to say I applied to like over 100 and something jobs. Like, literally, I was just sending out my resume to everybody. Nothing happened that whole 6 months. I got a whole bunch of interviews. Nobody called me back about the job. I graduated. Everything, still don't know what I was going to do. I was like, screw it. I'm just go home, live at home, work on my hair company, some other stuff that I had going on, because I always just start up stuff. Anything to make money, I'll try it. Went home. And I want to say maybe a month after I got home, I was so frustrated. I had a whole bunch of interviews back to back, and then I was just like, you know what? My mom was about to go into a service to preach, and before we went in the service, I was like, you know, this is the biggest burden I've had on me for the last few months. But I feel like right now it's time for me to just say, like, God, like, if you want me to stay home and just, you know, be with my mom in ministry and all that kind of stuff, then that's what I'll do. Like, I give up my will and surrender it, you know, to you for yours. And that was a Sunday, and I want to say Wednesday is when I got a call from a random recruiter. I had actually left to go to Florida. I got a call from a recruiter to submit my application to the job that I'm at now. They were like, we saw your LinkedIn profile. Is it okay if we submit your application? And I was just like, this is like Hewlett Packard. Like they don't just take random people's applications. Like they don't use, recruiting companies like this. That people want to work there.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, like whatever. Like not thinking it was legit. So then a couple weeks went by. And I got a call for an interview. Did the interview. After the first interview, they were like, can you fly down to Dallas for an interview in person? Still not really believing it. Like I came down for the interview, and it just so happened that my dad's company merged with American Airlines. It's in Dallas, so they were moving him here. So I was like, I mean, whatever. I mean, if I get the job, then so be it. He's moving to Dallas anyway, so I'll just test it and see if I like it. Ended up coming to Dallas for the interview. Day one. Right after the interview, they said, could you stay an extra day for, the interview with the director? Still doubting. Terrible. Guys, still doubting. I was still doubting. I was like, this is not real. They're going to ask me to stay another day and still not give me the job. Stayed another day. They ended up giving me the job right at the interview, and I had an offer letter by that Friday. They said, can you start? And I think they gave me 3 weeks. Within those 3 weeks, I gathered all my stuff and moved here. My dad's company was moving him here, so I don't know if this is safe to say. I snuck my car to get shipped on the car with the other employees at my dad's company, and it was free. And I've been here since. Like I lived with my aunt for the first month, and I'm very bad at like taking other people's help, so I had to get my own place. So she was like, "Oh, you can stay here as long as you want." I'm like, "No, I need my own apartment, like my own stuff."
But I think too, like with that, like even if you are a person that like you can't be in other people's space, like you have to have your own, like you're very independent. Like I think you also have to, like when you make big steps like that, you have to also understand like there's gonna be people there to like help you, and you have to be able to take that help, even if it's temporary.
Yeah. And even looking back, like I could have saved a lot of money and like got planted a little bit more.
Because I stayed with a friend in her studio apartment for a month before I got my own place here.
Here?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just for like a month, just like.
Yeah, I was only there a month. It was just. I just be wanting my own stuff. Even like now, like I have to have like my own stuff and be in my own space. But I definitely,
I guess
back, should have and could have taken that help to like been more set up.
But I guess what I'm saying too is like don't let anything stop you just because you don't have it all out perfectly. Like,
right.
If you have an opportunity, what I mean?
And my situation was really good because even like the apartment that I ended up getting, I got like the last one that they had available, and it was like 10 minutes from my job, and it was like everything was just so lined up.
Right.
And everything happened so fast. Like I literally feel like I blinked and I was living in Dallas.
Right.
Like,
yeah. That's how I feel. And I tell people all the time, like it's definitely like a lot to take in. Your moments you feel like lonely, you're like, what am I like
I had so many moments like leaving my office. Even when things went wrong in my office, I was like, of course doubt comes.
Right.
Should have never moved here. I should never did this. Like, but then I just got to a point where I'm like, God, no, you laid out the red carpet for me to move to Dallas. So if something happens with my job, then God, you got a new job to find for me because, like, I'm yours. You promised that you would, have it straight for me. So
exactly. Well, and being a hairstylist, like I had to start clientele all over again.
Yeah.
And I mean, shout out to Instagram. Like follow me, Lynn.styles, 2 S's at the end. I
God and Lynn and Instagram.
Yes. God, yes. Like with social media and how it is, like that's literally how I built my clientele. And it's crazy to think that what I've done in almost 2 years here, it took me like 8 years to do in Kansas City.
That's so crazy. But that's how you know it was meant to be.
Right.
And you like really have like a serious clientele.
Right.
So yeah, and like even with my job stuff, like we're not saying that, make the decision and then when you get there everything is just gonna be berries and cakes. Like it's not at all. Like it's gonna be days where you go and you don't want to like you question everything you did, but
you have to be prepared for the struggle. But like TD Jake said last Sunday, plug Potter's House North. That's where I go.
No, I go to North.
Oh, she goes North. I go to Potter's.
Potter's house.
Potter's house, whatever. Go to church.
Yeah.
You know, like, everything comes with a cost. It's gonna come with a cost at some point. It's just what it is, but you take one step back to be a little bit higher than you were.
Yep. But yeah, so
Yes.
moral of the story is we got to Dallas, and a lot of you guys asked, so I figured we'd answer the question. It happened, it was God. Things happened that tried to stray us from it. We didn't. We're still here 2 years later, and
Life is amazing.
life is great. Everything isn't perfect, but life is great. God is good. He's provided. Haven't really lacked. I mean, of course, there have been times where I'm like, I wish things were better, but at the same time, like, you look at your situation and you're like, you know, like, I really made it and I'm blessed. Like,
Well, I think you think about like where you were before. Too.
oh yeah,
like,
that too.
you can think of like financial stuff and all that stuff is good. Like money is good, but like overall life, like I love the saying like live the life you imagine. Like I have signs of it in my house. I have it tattooed on me, and like that's what I literally feel like I'm living right now. Like what I feel like I want my life to be right now. Like that's what I feel like I'm doing. Like I'm living the life that I imagine it to be. Do I imagine more? Do I want more? Yes, but do I
And
feel
you
like
should
I'm
always
going-
want more.
Right, but do I feel like I'm in those right steps? Yes. And I feel like that's where you know like something is right, like when it feels right. Like if something is burdening you or you feel like this ain't right or something's like you don't wake up
Yeah,
happy,
I was feeling-
like you have to move on from that. You can't be scared of it. You can't be like stuck in a comfortable space.
Yep. Agreed.
Or crying every day because you want more, but you ain't willing to do more. Like,
Preach.
I'm trying. I ain't T.D. Jakes though.
You could get there. But yeah, that's all, y'all. Stay tuned for like more life hacks and things about us and me and the channel, and follow us and like our pictures and make us pop. Thanks.
Make sure you subscribe.
Oh yeah,
We're on
subscribe as
YouTube.
well. I'm so bad at this. Subscribe, people, please. Help me out, please. Yeah, that's all. Peace out.